see a lot of people acting like 50 is like greenlit all amongst Netflix, and I want to push back on that. Although 50 has built something monumental and done something that rarely people are able to do coming out of entertainment, we got a lot of respect for his hustle. 50 ain't really greenlit at Netflix. They use 50.
Diddy Doc is number one on all platforms. Now, if you look at it, it's sitting at number one in the UK. It's also number one in the US. It's number one everywhere.
Do y'all want the ugly truth? Or do you want a beautiful lie?
Now, Combs is threatening legal action against the streamer for airing the unauthorized footage behind the series is Combs' longtime rap rival 50 Cent.
What it do, family? It's your boy TW, back at it again with another one. Yes, we are most definitely uncensored. We got some things going on. Like I always say, wouldn't be news and or content if we ain't had some things going on. Now, would it be? Talk to me nicely. Best believe I talk back. If you're new to the channel, like, share. Most importantly, subscribe. Don't ever play yourself. Let's get into these reactions, shall we? Yes, we shall. Let's continue.
New Netflix docuseries about Sean Diddy Combs is making headlines for its never-before-seen footage of the music mogul in the days before his arrest. Now, Combs is threatening legal action against the streamer for airing the unauthorized footage behind the series is Combs' longtime rap rival 50 Cent and director Alexandria Stapleton, who sat down with NBC News' Chloe Malas ahead of tonight's release.
Tonight, Netflix releasing never-before-seen video of Sean Diddy Combs filmed just days before his arrest on charges of sex trafficking and racketeering in 2024. The footage is part of a 4-part docuseries, Sean Combs: The Reckoning, premiering Tuesday. Behind the explosive documentary is Combs' longtime rival, Curtis 50 Cent Jackson, and director Alexandria Stapleton.
How did you get that footage of Diddy?
I figured most journalists would not disclose their sources.
The recordings give viewers an intimate look at Combs' mindset ahead of his criminal trial.
This reaction right here is called Diddy Under Fire. And when I say we getting ready to get into it, we getting ready to get into it. But let's continue, shall we?
Even
Yes, we
conversations with his legal team.
Does he know y'all have this in the doc?
I would doubt he knows.
So when this airs, that'll be the first time that his legal team, Diddy, that everybody knows that this footage is now seeing the light of day.
Perhaps.
What was he intending to use it for?
I have no idea what he was doing that for.
I mean, you know, you're talking about a man who films himself doing everything and has for decades. I think he wanted someone to be behind the scenes with him.
Combs' team firing back in a statement to NBC News today, saying the Netflix so-called documentary is a shameful hit piece and that they relied on stolen footage that was never authorized for release. His team sending a cease and desist to Netflix. Netflix referring NBC News to a statement from Stapleton in which she said they lawfully obtained the footage. After a nearly 8-week trial, Combs was acquitted of the more serious charges of sex trafficking and racketeering and sentenced to 50 months in federal prison for 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. Combs' team going on to slam Netflix for partnering with 50 Cent, who they say has been his longtime public adversary, something the Grammy winner denied, citing his own casting choices in his popular Stars franchise, Power.
One could watch this and think that you really hate Sean Combs.
Why would they be thinking that?
Because of the things that you post on Instagram,
Yeah,
because
this,
of the...
Look at this. And let's stop for a second and do say that I hated him enough to hire his kids. And we've never done anything to each other. So it's just competitive energy and things that you say about other artists while you're in hip-hop culture.
This documentary is one of several that has chronicled Combs' rise and fall, but Stapleton says theirs is different.
Yeah, there's a lot of new information. No one had ever really put it together like that before.
For 50 Cent, he says he feels a sense of obligation.
Well, you know, if I didn't say anything, you could assume that all of hip-hop culture is comfortable with his actions.
In all actual honesty, I gotta kind of agree with him, because if if a prominent figure in the hip hop world doesn't speak out, because it's been crickets out there, everybody's been kind of quiet. It does seem like you actually condone, or quote unquote, allegedly, you might have just been a part of the party. I'm not saying it was a part of the party. I'm just saying, family, there's a chance there's a whole lot of people that was actually a part of the party. We just didn't know about it. But in any event, there's a few other people who had some critiques of this so-called documentary that came out, and we're gonna let them get their shit off their chest. Let's continue.
This footage ends up in the hands of Netflix. Netflix is a big corporation. I want you guys to understand that Netflix is planning on tomorrow. And everybody that knows me knows I have a lot of respect for 50, but we're going to dissect some of the business behind what I think happened with Netflix and 50 Cent as it pertains to this documentary. I believe Netflix found themselves in a very interesting situation. They were working on 2 documentaries, probably had money tied up in both. And then all of a sudden, Diddy bags out of doing the documentary. Diddy didn't get the time Netflix probably even thought he was going to get. So now all of this stuff, although it's still valuable, it lessens in value from Netflix perspective. Again, this is a high level conversation. When I say it lessens in value, I need you to understand that they were probably at the table at the start of this with a Diddy documentary.
Now, family, you know what you're saying? Why do you got this guy Loon here? You don't even listen to his content. Well, you're actually right about that. I don't. However, he is now kind of like moving and shaking in this content industry. So I can't discredit that. However, I think he's kind of a lemon. And of course, he's paid by Charlemagne. In my opinion, I think Charlemagne gave him the deal in order to say the things that he could not say. That's what I personally believe. Don't mean it's true. Don't mean it's false. It's just my opinion, family. But we're going to let him continue. And then we're going to say what we say at the end. You know what we're going to do. We're going to react. But of course, let's continue.
With footage from Diddy in his process, going all through it, what happened during trial, they were probably tapped in with him with an understanding saying that, yo, we're going to be involved with you in a way where we're going to get the exclusive documentary about what happened, how you felt, and from your perspective. Those conversations break down to now we got to do a Diddy documentary without Diddy's involvement. We do have a camera crew that was following them. They have a little bit of footage. Maybe we can negotiate that. But we can't be viewed in the open market as that we're exploiting people in that way, although sometimes they throw that label around on Netflix. But we had a relationship with Diddy, and so we don't want to be viewed in that way. And so what do? We hire a bad guy. The bad guy name is 50 Cent. I see a lot of people acting like 50 is like greenlit all amongst Netflix, and I want to push back on that. Although 50 has built something monumental and done something that rarely people are able to do coming out of entertainment. We got a lot of respect for his hustle. 50 ain't really greenlit at Netflix.
Family. And this is the things I be talking about. He be saying, how do you know that, Loon? How do you know that? Do you have documentational proof that this is the era of you got to prove the shit you saying? We're not just jacking anything and everything people saying out their mouth no more. So now you got to prove that he's not greenlit in Netflix, a man that owns his own media company that's making TV shows, movies. You think he's not greenlit at really? You got to prove that, dog. Let's continue.
They use 50 to hide behind him and use that footage. And so no one that's a quote unquote exec can be held accountable. They'll just blame it on 50. It's messy like that because 50 was involved. One thing you got to understand is I believe 50 to be someone who understands marketing at a level that Diddy understands it. And so soon as this stuff is happening, when he comes out, he's signaling to the companies. When he says documentary coming soon, did he do it? That's really like a signal to the companies that, yo, I'm willing to work on this documentary. So if y'all need someone from culture, powerful from culture, that'll speak on Diddy on the other side and what's going on, and I'm going to do what I want to do. Yo, I'm willing to be involved. He's throwing his hat in the market. And so as it pertains to this, I believe 50 was just utilized as a tool for them to shield themselves from bad business. And it's like, whatever y'all blame on this documentary, blame it on 50. Now, would the accolades go to 50? The same way the blame will go to 50? See, these are the tricks that...
No. Ain't no tricks. Yes, of course it will. If you're saying it used him as a tool, first of all, I highly doubt 50 Cent is letting anybody use him as a tool. You believe that? Don't ever play yourself. Put in the comment section. Talk to me nicely. But best believe I talk back. They're using 50 Cent as a tool. You got to prove that too. You know virtue signals and all this, hat signs and all the pinky ring movements and all types of shit. You got to show us some proof of that too, there, buddy. Let's continue.
Watching, salute to Netflix. They do a lot of good business. I know a lot of creators that make money with them. So this isn't about them. I'm just speaking from the industry standpoint, what I'm viewing, and we're breaking down information. And I don't feel as though it's divisive. I think it's informative, and I have a duty to do that on behalf of not only culture, but just business. We live in a gray area at this point. And so as things become more and more gray, I have to make them black and white for my people. And so we find our tribe and then we segregate ourselves and live on the island where information is king, money is needed, and love is always currency. I think too many people get lost in the sauce these days. And so I try to remain humble. But when I see 50 do stuff like this, right, I think 50 has built this brand in a way where it's kind of bulletproof. No one really says anything. He lives a certain way. People done him bad. See, that's the thing, right? And that's why I can't really say nothing either, because I get it, right? Come up in a spot where they do you bad, where they kind of try to discredit you, where they shoot you up, where they don't let you in, because these old right here really be haters. They always so scared somebody gonna take the light from them. They don't want to make no calls and help nobody. They don't want to point no right direction. They so busy worried about the next, man. I always tell dudes, I ain't trying to be better than you. I'm trying to be better than I was, a better version of what I was. I'm trying to beat the old me. I was doing hella good for this. So I'm still trying to outdo what I done before I ran into y'all folk. You understand me? And so 50 got some of that energy. Like, it was hard. The come up was hard. You know, I still can't excuse certain things. I wouldn't go that far. You know what I mean? I probably wouldn't go that far. But I noticed it's certain things that he stayed away from on there as well. And so maybe he got involved so he can make sure certain things are not spoken to.
Family. We got to unpack this train of thought this man has going on now. Now, he said it's divisive. Maybe there is a chance that the reason 50 didn't put certain things in there was to be protective. I'm not 50 Cent. Neither is he. We speculating on an opinion. That's it. But you, sir, are pushing it like you know some shit. Like you're basically you're invited to the party. You invited to the party? Well, you need to explain a little more detail of why you think 50 Cent is not greenlit in Netflix and he was used as a tool. That's all I'm going to say on this guy's part, because we got some other people who had some things they wanted to say. So we're going to get right into them, shall we? Yes, we shall. Let's continue.
The Diddy doc is number one on all platforms. 50's been celebrating like a motherfucker with it. He's like really boasting and bragging that he kind of created this documentary. Now, if you look at it, it's sitting at number one in the UK. It's also number one in the US. It's number one everywhere. Okay, if you don't know, it's a 4-part docu-series that actually depicts like a really not convoluted, but it brings you all the way back to Diddy's like, you know, early career.
Family. Now, I can't hold you. At times, I do disagree with some of the things Akademiks say, but a lot of the time, I do actually agree. And here's why. See how he's being honest. Whether you like what Diddy did, whether you like what 50 did in making it, that's irrelevant. It's all irrelevant. Is it good? Did it make sense? That's the fundamental point of a video and a movie, TV show, whatever. And yes, as you can see, he says it is. But you got some people that's gonna act like it ain't all that, and or people ain't greenlit and this and that. No, you act like you was invited to the party, Loon. You ain't invited to the party. Yep, you you know
90s, and details how money, fame, and a ego took a man from New York City to being like this mogul that essentially felt he could do whatever he wanted. Now, I kind of gave like a review of it, and I just watched the last episode before I started the stream. There's not much. It doesn't show you much redeeming factors of Diddy, right? And obviously, you got to remember the person who executive produces is Curtis 50 Cent Jackson, who's no friend of Diddy. But it doesn't show you anything redeeming about him. Like, it doesn't kind of show a convoluted picture of, yo, this is a guy who had many sides. Like, he was philanthropic. He was a man of the people. He was a family man, but he was also a creep and a freak, or whatever you want to say. And you could at least see different sides of him. This whole documentary kind of paints Diddy as a guy who just fucked over everybody along his path, his unstoppable path to fame and success. A shiesty motherfucker, a creepy motherfucker, a guy who had insatiable appetite for money, fame, power, and clearly for sex.
family. This is what I'm talking about. This is the type of commentary we should have gotten from that other guy. But see, when you get paid and or get a deal, quote unquote, allegedly, from a person named Charlemagne the God, who is known for what? Working with Breakfast Club, who is also known for working for who? Diddy. You get biased commentary. We don't want your biased commentary coming out talking about, oh, they just use 50 Cent as a tool. How you know that? You don't know what you're talking about. Let's continue.
So I think if you ask me, that's what 50 input is. There's nothing in this documentary that makes you feel bad for Diddy at all. Now, obviously, I think the intended purpose here is also to kind of like refresh the memory or refresh the vitriol that people were feeling about Diddy when we first saw that video where he was beating up Cassie. I've made the suggestion that ever since he got found not guilty of sex trafficking, and also once people like kind of like got their opinion after seeing how the trial went, people don't. I think the public, I'm not saying that they love Diddy, but I think the hatred for him went down a bit. And I think this docuseries, it kind of goes to tug on the heartstrings. And by the way, the fourth episode, he's pretty much even saying like, yo, Diddy got PR to make it look like he wasn't exactly what he was really accused of. Almost like it's on a reverse level where they're like, no, he was charged for the right things. This guy is a sex trafficker. But the idea that people like, and even people like myself came out later and said like, oh, no, you know what? Maybe he's just not, you know, they overcharged him. They're saying that was Diddy doing a whole PR job. So interesting doc, but obviously 50 is the person who's commissioned it, which I've told you, I'm like, if the baby father of your last chick has to tell your story, it won't be a good story.
Now, family. That I could agree with. That's kind of when I said in the last part when Loon was giving his commentary, when I said there's a little part I do agree with, because just like Akademiks just said, if the guy that's telling the commentary and or rather making the story about you has an underlying issue, meaning Daphne Joy, there is going to be something really not positive going to come out about this. And you might keep a few things out just because. See what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, we don't want biased commentary. We want real, truthful, as much as you can get on this internet. And if you can't bring us that, we don't want to hear the shit you got to say no more. Get your ass up out of here. But in any event, somebody else has something to say. So we're going to let them get to it and say what they got to say real quick. Let's continue.
I'm not going to even lie to y'all. That documentary on Diddy is disgusting. I'm not taking up for Diddy. I don't like the man that he used to be. Because what I want y'all to understand is that I've been to jail. And jail do change some people. Sometimes when you go to prison, it breaks you down and it humbles you. Especially when you take a billionaire and you turn him into a slave. You ever been a slave before? I mean, we slaves right now. They got us chasing the clock, robbing Peter to pay Paul. But when you are in the penitentiary, you are officially a slave. Even in the Constitution, you're 3/5 of a man already. But when you go to prison, your rights is gone. You're officially a slave. That billionaire is a slave now. And see what I don't like is kicking niggas when they already down. One of the worst places and the worst situations you can be in this world is in a hospital and in a jail cell. In a hospital and in a jail cell.
Real quick, family, he's missing one place. Living on a corner like a bum, especially in the wintertime when it's snowing. So there's 3. However, we digress. This whole different thing. Y'all agree with what he's saying right now? Should they not be kicking Diddy when he was down? Family. He could just be giving you a plethora of thoughts at one time. That's actually a multitude of what Akademiks and a little bit of what Loon is saying, because that shit Loon said about 50 Cent not being green lit and all that shit was some bullshit. We ain't thinking about that. Anyway, let's
I ain't feeling it. I rock with G Unit. I rocks with 50. I rocks with 50. 50's one of my favorite artists. But I can't sit up there and act like I can't see and I don't know exactly what's going on right now. The question is to y'all. Do y'all want the ugly truth? Or do you want a beautiful lie? Put it in the comment section. Because the truth has no friends.
Real quick, family. He ain't lying. What y'all want? Ugly truth or beautiful lie? Let me know. Talk to me nicely. Best believe I talk back. Don't ever play yourself. That's what we here for. That ugly truth. Let's continue.
The truth is always going to be the truth. Do you want the ugly truth or do you want the beautiful lie? Put it in the comment section.
I said things to the borderline, like, "Oh my God, you're in trouble." You got close when you offered to take you shopping. Yeah, Amika's in the same shirt. Out there in the same shirt. This is not shit. Obviously, was not offended by what I was offended by. This is what I'm saying. When you said the shopping line in real life, what did you say? He was like, "Yo, you hot now? Now we gotta hang out. Take you shopping and I get you some flash." And I was looking and I was like, let me just move away from him because I'm gonna mess up the wedding. With someone's wedding? It was Chris Lighty's wedding. Nobody cares. Nobody knows this. I looked at him like, yo. You heard what he just said, right? Certain things they let it go by because it's fun. It's like he wasn't like in the closet, he was like in the hallway. No, it was in the hallway. We saw the video. We saw that video. It comes out later, you're like, that's not the closet. He didn't get my father.
Well, family. With that said, what y'all thought about today's reaction? Me personally, that whole documentary thing is just completely insane. I ain't gonna hold you. I don't know if y'all watched it. Me personally, I'm just letting you know it's insane. If anything, leave me a comment. Talk to me nicely. Best believe I talk back. Don't ever play yourself. We here for the whole truth and that whole nasty, brutal truth. Like I said, as much as you can get on the internet. Anything else, we're kicking that shit to the curb. And we damn for sure ain't letting these people play in our faces no more like we done. With that said, y'all already know what it is. It's your boy TW. And yes, we are most definitely uncensored.
Tick tock, gun shot